We're here with El Paso Democrat Representative Joe Pickett, and if people are saying this sounds familiar, it's because it is. We just passed Proposition 1 last year, $1.2 billion a year for roads. Can you talk to me a little bit about life after Proposition 1, just to set it up?
Yeah, in fact, when we went around the state promoting Prop 1, we told everybody, myself, my counterpart in the Senate, that that was just the first part, that it would get us to where we need to be once we quit borrowing money. So Prop 1 supplanted the money we were borrowing. Now Prop 7 on the ballot will actually take us forward and do some of the projects around the state of Texas that we've been wanting to do for many years.
So this is step 2. What is it exactly?
Different from Prop 1, which was based on oil and gas severance tax, Prop 7 is asking the public's permission to set aside general revenue, which we have not done for transportation. And that general revenue would be in the form of sales tax. With the growth and the strength of Texas's economy, and this would start in 2 years into the future, we're asking to put aside $2.5 billion a year from the sales tax. And then we've also got a growth factor based on motor vehicle sales. So it's two-pronged. The down and dirty is it means about $3 billion a year. And the good news, and I know I'm from the government, trust me, but it's not a tax increase. We're not raising gas tax. We're not raising property tax. We're not raising registration fees. We are strictly setting aside the growth that Texas is experiencing.
And so why general revenue? Talk to me about how the idea evolved. Why general revenue? Why the sales tax? Why the motor vehicle sales tax?
Right now, the appropriators know that we dedicate the gas tax, we dedicate registration to transportation. All the other things that the state of Texas is asked to do and perform comes from general revenue. And because transportation has a dedicated source, at the end of the day, there's usually nothing left. So this is a way to make transportation infrastructure as important as some of those other things that are priorities to people, like health and human services, like public education. So it's a way to dedicate part of that sales tax. Sales tax makes up almost 75% of all the money that we take in for the state of Texas. So it's a very broad, varied, it has its ups and downs, but not near as volatile as other things.
For people outside saying, why not just appropriate it? Talk me through, is this the only option we can do without raising taxes or fees?
No, it's not, but it's very difficult. This is a way almost to not trick, but say we have priorities. As I mentioned, everything else is done because there isn't dedicated sources. This is a way to include it at the beginning of the process, not at the end of the process. But we're making sure that all the other things that are important to people are in place too. There is a limit to this. The base of $2.5 billion. As the sales tax grows, we're not going to go over that. It'll continue to raise general revenue for everything, but we do have that growth factor planned in.
Just a little bit ago, the Texas A&M Transportation Institute says this would help, but we're still going to be $4.3 billion short. Can you talk a little bit about this is just step 2, the importance of step 2, but this isn't the whole way?
This isn't the whole thing, but I would say that this is really more than 3/4 or 7/8 of the way there. If you take Prop 1 that passed of $1.2 billion a year, we just started that this year. The legislature also stopped diverting money out of the highway fund for like DPS and other things. That's $600 million a year. If Prop 7 is successful, that's $3 billion a year. Quick math makes that $5 billion a year. And as part of the package, the legislature saw fit to turn off any more borrowing by TxDOT. So we're going to stop the debt. So we're getting pretty close to a number that's going to help tremendously. There's still more to go.
We're a very conservative body, but why not go bigger? I feel like the jury is out that the need is there for roads. Why not go bigger with Prop 7?
I think the go bigger would hurt a little bit. The go bigger would mean more revenue than just depending on the growth. More would be registration fee increase or a gas tax. And there just is not the appetite in the legislature or statewide elected officials to support that at this time.
And Proposition 1, almost 80% it passed. Do you detect any organized opposition to Proposition 7?
No, and even less than before. It was a regular session, 3 special sessions, 8 different separate votes to pass Prop 1 out of the legislature. Because the public supported it so large, my colleagues came back this session asking myself and Senator Nichols, what's next? So as far as a vote in the legislature, it was much easier. The public said transportation is important. We want a high number this time too, but not because we want to prove anything to the next legislature. We want to prove something to the federal government. We want to prove to Congress that Texas is stepping up and their participation in transportation dollars is waning. Ours is going up from the state, but theirs is going down. If we get a big number, big support, we're hoping our delegation to Congress will take that message with them.
Now, since it's general revenue, does that mean that somebody or something or some program is not getting that money since we're dedicating towards roads?
No, for 2 reasons. One is we're not taking anything today. This would not begin till September 1st, 2017, and it's only based on if we grow enough that there's more money than what was projected. The second part, again, is growth on motor vehicle sales tax. And even still, someone can say, well, we count on that progress in the future. We count on it growing for other things. That's why we've put a limit on what can be transferred to transportation. And if we were to ever have a downturn like 2008 and 2009, the legislature can reduce this. And that was a big thing for a lot of the membership to be able to say, okay, if there's something really, really bad, then we're not stuck in just dedicating this money without having some say. That's in there too.
But isn't this one of those things where when times are good, our roads are going to be good. When times are bad, our roads are going to be bad?
No, I don't think so. And the reason is, as I said, there is a point there above which goes to transportation, but we're going to go way beyond that. Our economy is going to grow, and we spent a lot of time putting in numbers, what ifs. We did the what ifs behind the scene. What if we have 3 or 4 bad years in a row? What if we have 1 good year and 2? We did all those, and the fact that this would go out into the future and just dedicate this source, I don't believe anything else will suffer. And it's amazing to me that both parties that have factions within each party, all but 1 person in the legislature voted for this. And that means everybody has scrutinized this. You know how hard it is in the legislature to get anybody to agree on who we recognize today for their birthday. So this is difficult. This isn't an easy go.
Who is that one person?
Harold Dutton from Houston.
So when we're talking congestion in Austin, I-35, huge problem, huge cause of congestion. There's just not enough of it. How can this help us?
It can help because the monies that will come in, the lion's share will be decided by the regions how they spend their money. In this area, it's unusual in that it affects so many people. It's San Antonio all the way to Dallas. And this is designed for each region to show the state what their priorities are, and then the state can also participate in that. And the fact that additional legislation that went along with this was to require all the regions have a 10-year plan. Here in the Austin area, have a 4-year plan that's required by the federal government. We're not changing that. But TxDOT deals in a 10-year plan with a cash flow projection. We're asking all communities to meet that so that we can plan better and let your community bank some of that money. Instead of saying, what's my fair share, and getting a check this year for whatever amount, you could actually look at a longer term plan and say, okay, we're entitled to $30 million this year, but we want to do a bigger project. If we don't do the 30, does that stay in our account, and can we add that to what we're going to get in the future? And the answer is going to be yes. So you'll see a better plan for bigger projects in the future instead of just trying to spend the money because you got it 1 year. And because it's state dollars, not federal dollars, there's not an expiration date, and we control the money.
And at a federal level, Highway Trust Fund, it seems that every other month we just delay when this thing's going to become insolvent.
35 times.
35 times.
35 extensions since we've had a 6-year plan, because normally, back in the day, you could expect to have 6 years of knowing where you were. And sometimes we didn't like what the dollar amounts were, but knowing what it is important. We don't know. We really don't know. And in 2012, 44% of our transportation budget came from federal funds. Today it's 36%. If Prop 1 is successful, it's going to be 28%. So again, we're trying to send a message to the federal government. One, we'd like more money, obviously, but the other one is you all need to get something settled and let us know so that we can plan on what it is. Because we go through an exercise once a year in all the local communities where the federal government says, okay, we need to take some money back. So we actually plan for things and then have to pull back because of the rescissions. We just need to know what you're going to do to us. And that's a message we want to send.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. We look forward to the vote.
And we'll do the math, just vote for Prop 7.